Today we're doing a half and half makeup face. The do's and don'ts of makeup over 40. If you want to know what my tricks are, keep watching. Okay, so I do have my foundation and powder on, but that is it. Normally I would have my eyebrows on at least, but I want you to see some mistakes. So we're going to start with eyebrows. Melissa Ware, this one's for you. I suck at eyebrows. The worst eyebrows ever. So I have found this wonderful product called Mad Love. I got it in my auburn shade. It's a little bit more brown than I would like it to be. I had the, what is it called? I don't know. Another brow product that had the better color, but this one's easier to apply. And I have a stencil, and that is how I get my eyebrows perfect, because as you can see I have almost no eyebrows at all. But even using the stencil, the whole purpose of this video is to show you what you shouldn't and should be doing. So before I start with my eyebrows, let me explain. Normally the should eye would be this face, the side of the face, my left side, because it's my better eye. The right one is hooding faster than the left. That's why I have that heavy crease here. So what I'm going to do is show you what not to do on this side of my face and what to do on this side of my face. Having said that, this is the idea of this is makeup for people who are 40 and over. So if you're younger, the rules may not apply. Secondly, even if you're 90, do what works for you, boo. If you like what you're achieving, the way you're achieving it, you don't need to change a thing. This is just some tricks to make you look a little bit more youthful. You're not suddenly going to be 65 looking 40. That's not going to happen. But it's just things you shouldn't do as you get older. Gravity takes hold and you have to compensate. So, having said that, let's get started. So on my right eye, I'm going to do my eyebrows the way I normally would for my age. Now again, I suck, so I take my little stencil, figure out where I want my eyebrows to begin, cover up what little hair I do have, and I try to turn it upward. Now I've actually started plucking this part of my eyebrows just because I want to be able to shape it where I want it. So I go upward and I start on the outside and work my way in. The goal is to try and get it a little lighter on the inside, a little darker on the outside. And I got that little hole there from where I pierced my eyebrow. So it's going to be a little darker than I want. And then if I can find it, I'll go in with a spoolie and just kind of brush it out a little bit in the front. And just blend it, soften it up, so it doesn't look quite as harsh. Okay, now on this side, I'm going to show you what you shouldn't do if you're older. Gravity takes hold. Eyes that used to swoop up may now start turning downward. I have very downward eyes. I used to have very almond-shaped, uplifted eyes. Now they're turning down. So you want to keep the tail of your brow short and out. It helps to lift. So I'm going to change the shape, still using the same stencil. Don't want to throw, don't want to throw you for too much for a loop. Still using the same stencil, I'm going to change the shape. So starting in the same spot, instead of angling it up, I'm going to cover all the hair and angle it down. So yes, my eyebrows are going to be completely different shaped. Okay. So you see up and out and lifted down. Now, if you were doing this by hand and not using a stencil, another mistake you could make is to bring it down too low. So if I were using a brush and I brought it down even lower, not much, but a little bit lower, because we used to be taught that your eyebrows should go here. So here, you'll notice a lot of space between the brow and the brush. No space between the brow and the brush. Okay. But you'll also notice that this eye looks more droopy already, and I don't even have shadow on it. So you don't have to use the products I use. You can use any colors you like, but just for simplicity, I'm going to be using my BH Cosmetics Hawaii palette. It has a lot of browns and neutral shades, some shimmers, and I figure it's the best of both worlds. I have stencils, I have tape. I'm not going to use anything fancy today. I'm just going to keep it as simple as possible for a daytime look. So the first brush I'm going into is a fluffy brush. This is my Profusion brush, one of the many. And I'm going to pick a neutral transition shade. So I'm going to go with Shaka, which is this light brown right here. I'm going to keep it very neutral. But for those of you who are over 40 and want to wear shimmers, I'm going to show you how. But we're going to start with Shaka. Now, on the side of the things you don't want to do, I don't want to just follow my crease line. Because again, gravity is taking hold. But on this particular eye, I have a lot of mobile lid space. So I'm going to utilize that, which is what you do when you have it. But I'm going to do it in a way that follows the line. So there's my transition shade. And you might not be able to see it too well. The lighting is rather bright. Okay. Using the same color and the same fluffy brush, I'm going to go over here to the right eye, and I'm going to do the same thing, use it as a transition shade, but I'm already starting at an angle. I'm not going quite up to the brow, but I'm angling up towards the brow. And because this eye is a little bit more slightly hooded than the other one, I'm going to tilt my head backward. And what I'm looking for is where I have my orbital bone. So I'm going to take this at an upward angle and then into my orbital bone, almost up to the brow on the inner corner, and I'm creating a faux crease. But I'm making sure it wings up at the end. Make it a little darker. I don't have to keep tilting my head back once I have it in place. Make sure this one's just as dark. Okay, so I'm going to do a basic V. So for that, I'm going to get a slightly smaller brush. Kind of a pencil brush. And I'm keeping this simple with just very few colors. So I'm going to go in with my darkest brown. I could do another transition shade, which would make it even more gradient. But what I'm going to do is go in with a darker brown Mahalo, this kind of medium chocolate brown right here. And I'm just going to blend it like crazy. So, starting with the eye again that you don't want to do, what you don't want to do if you have gravity taking hold. And that is coming a little bit deeper in, but still following the line of your lid. I don't know if you can hear my cat on camera, but my little widget wants in. I'm going to trace the line. And right now, all I'm doing is placing color. I'm not worried about how dark it is. Take it part of the way on my lid. And then I'm going to go in with the first brush that I used to apply Shaka with and just blend out those edges. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side with the same color Mahalo. But again, I'm going to wing it up. So I'm taking it from the outer corner to my lash line. Fill in that V. Tilt my head back. And bring it just slightly lower than I did Shaka. I'm going to darken it up as much as I want, making sure that I'm winging up towards my brow, giving my eye a lift. I want to make sure that I take it on the inner lid as much as I did on the other side. And then going with the same brush that I applied Shaka with. Not much extra product, I'm really tapping it out. I'm just going to soften those edges. Okay. Now, there's two schools of thought here. One, if you're older, you should avoid shimmer on your lids at all costs. I don't do that. It does show. But today I'm going to do that. But I'm going to show you how you can wear shimmer. So I'm going to go in with a kind of angled fluffy brush. And I'm going to use the color Ohana. That means family. And it's this light pink right here, and it's a matte shade. And I'm going to take that all over my lid. Now, as I was saying, I don't often do this. I'll usually wear shimmer on my lid. I break the rules. There are no rules. You wear what you want, when you want. But just remember, there are guidelines that are going to make things look better. There's always a trade-off. You wear a shimmer on your lid, any wrinkles or creases are going to show more. It just is what it is. If you don't care, wear them. If you care, don't wear them. So this is just the same. I'm just taking it right to the brown. And then what I'm going to do is go back with the brush that I applied the Mahalo with and just sharpen up those creases. The edges where it touches. And I'm taking the brush I used to apply Shaka and not adding any extra product, just buffing. Okay. Now, you want to wear some highlighter, but you're worried about wrinkles and such. Two places that it works all the time. One, inner corner. It will show some wrinkles, but not too many if you keep it close. You want it more intense, use your finger or wet your brush. How not to wear highlighter on your inner corner. Okay? Shows every line and crease and makes your bags more emphasized. Just adds a little pop. How to wear highlighter on below your brow bone. Keep it as close to the brow bone as possible. Then use the brush that you used for your transition shade. And you don't even need to add any extra product. Just make it seamless. the other side. Fill in the whole area and don't blend it all. Some people want it that intense. Now let's talk liquid eyeliner. I have hooded eyes, slightly hooded eyes, and very downturned eyes. So I definitely want a wing. I can make a really nice wing if I use powder, but I want to use a liquid liner. So I'm going to make a kitten wing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start right here at my lash line, bring it into my lash line, and you'll notice I'm going almost straight out. I'm not curving it upward. And then I'm going to take it in just a little bit and keep it thin. Now the reason I'm doing that is my eye is really hooded. So I've got two options. Do a very thin wing and go straight out, or do a thick wing, which I'm going to turn this into, and just go straight over where the hood interferes with where the wing should be. And then as close to the lash line as I can get. Get a little more product on there. Now, what makes this unique is when I look straight ahead at you, it looks like almost a perfect wing. But if I close my eyes, you can see how it's kind of jagged. We generally don't look at people with their eyes closed. When you have hooded eyes, that's how you wear a wing. What not to do. So I've been turning everything downward. I'm going to take that right up towards the brow bone. Make it super thin. And right along the lash line. In fact, the hood's interfering, I could do a little more. Just like that. So you see the difference? This is bold and big and almost perfectly straight. It doesn't have too much of a curve. It's not hidden underneath my hood. This kind of gets lost. The difference being is how jagged that is. You want the line a little sharper at the tip. There you go. But it goes up. Now I could have done just a little kitten wing, but I wanted to show you the full effect. Now let's talk contour, blush, and highlighter. So we're going to get my, where if I can find my e.l.f. contour palette and a contour brush. Now, one thing that people are doing, that younger people do, that if you are like me and are starting to get a wattle or a double chin, that you can do is contour your chin. I start very tightly under my chin, draw sharp lines. Sculpt out my jawline. Get it all sharp, and then I blend softly down. I don't want it going up my face. I don't want my face to look dirty or cut short. So I bring everything down, and that's going to hide that wattle, disguise it. Now, what not to do. As far as our contour, we've all been told before that you suck in your cheeks, find the pit of your cheek, the deepest part, and fill in there. So let's do that. Make the fish face. Right here. Okay. So now I'm just going to take any excess product off and I'm going to blend upward. Now on this side, what we're trying to do is achieve a lift. So instead of going in the depth of my cheek, I'm going to find the bone and go right along the bone up towards my hairline. So what I'm doing is looking for the natural shadow, and I'm pretty well lit here. So I'm just going to kind of go down, and I see that my natural shadow is right around here. Make that line right where you want it. And now remove any excess product and blend upward and into your hairline. Okay. You should already be seeing a lifted difference. Let me just contour my nose real quick. That doesn't change. And this is a step you can skip. I just think my nose is a little bulbous at the end. Now let's talk blush. I'm going to use a nice bright pink so you can see it. Oh, I just realized we were talking about what you shouldn't do. And I didn't do it on the left eye, so let's do it. Taking my finger with some shimmers. And like I said, I still do it, but it will accentuate every line you have. Okay. Now let's talk blush. So I'm using bright pink, Sailor Moon color. What is it called? I have no idea. Cat's Eye. On the side that you do not want to follow a younger pattern, a lot of times they go in the apples of their cheeks and work their way into the contour. That's great if your face is naturally lifted. But watch the difference. I'm going to come up here, starting back here, avoiding the apples of my cheeks, and right along the contour line and up into the hairline. Now for contour, let's see, where is my contour palette? Well, not finding one. I'm going to use an eyeshadow. So I use the same shadow I used on my brow bone. I like this little boop on the nose. This, again, makes no difference. Now, here's a do or don't. I do a little bit here. If you have very heavy 1s or 11s, it's going to crease. So maybe avoid that area. Speaking of avoiding, if we do our highlighter like 20-year-olds, we're going to do it here and in here and maybe around here and here. That's going to accentuate every line and wrinkle you have. So let's show that. See how every line and wrinkle just shows up. So instead, try this. Highest point of the bone, and not so far back that it hits your crow's feet. And then finally, lipstick. I'm going to use a lip stain. So on this side, I'm just going to trace my natural lip. Which is fine, but it's getting thinner. Right? On this side, I'm going to overdraw just slightly. Mascara stays the same on either eye. So I'm just going to do them off camera. Okay, and there you have it. So, this is what my face looks like doing things the way a 20-year-old might do them. This is what my face looks like doing it the way someone over 40 should. I don't know if it's as noticeable to you as it is to me, but this side definitely looks more weighed down. It definitely looks, thinner. It looks thinner lipped, very droopy, whereas this side looks more lifted, more glamorous. Everything goes upward and into the hairline. So let me know what you think. Leave it in the comments. Did you learn anything out of this video that you might try at home? I wish I could credit other artists because I learned a lot of these tricks from other artists, but so many that I don't remember. So many of them have done it, but it's out there and there's more. So, definitely keep a lookout for makeup for people who are our age. Alright, so if you are younger and part of the group or part of your subscribe, then trust me, there will be videos coming for you that are universal very shortly. In the meantime, thank you so much for tuning in. Stay magical, my little unicorns. Bye. So there you have it, my do's and don'ts. Do's, don'ts. Tell me what you think. Do you notice a dramatic difference? I definitely do, but I look at my face every day. Maybe you don't, but I see a big difference in how lifted and younger this side looks. It looks like I've had an instant facelift, whereas this side looks a little bit more droopy, a little more dragged down. The eye is lower, the brow is lower, the cheeks are like, gravity is taking its toll on the left side. So you tell me in the comments if you think there's a big difference or if there's any of these tips and tricks that you might use. In the meantime, I look forward to seeing you again. Stay magical, my little unicorns. Bye.